The music was drifting through the castle. Oh, that's my cue. I slipped out of the kitchen door and tiptoed down the corridor. I couldn't believe I was actually doing this. Stealing was wrong. I knew that. But if it meant that I could get closer to him, then I didn't care. My heart thumped like a drum solo as I neared his room. He was everything to me. The sun that warmed me when I was cold. The rain that nourished me when I was dry. Ever since I'd heard him play the fiddle for the first time, I wanted to be close to him. And now I was going to get my wish. I reached out and opened the door, peeking inside. He wasn't there. Relief flooded me. I made my way inside and started rummaging through his things. I had to find something to steal. Surely he wouldn't mind if I took something small, right? My fingers brushed against velvet and lace as I searched his drawers, but there was nothing I could take. Everything was too precious. Then I saw it, his fiddle. It wasn't playing that made him special. There were plenty of talented musicians in the kingdom. It was his presence, the kindness that shone from him, his ability to light up any room with his smile. That's what drew me to him, and now he was taking it out to practice. "Oh, don't worry," I whispered to myself. "I won't keep it long, just until I can replace it." And before he knew it, I slipped out of the room and away from the castle. My boots crunched on the gravel path as I hurried home. What was I thinking? This wasn't like me. I had a roof over my head, food in my belly. Why did I want to live in a world without sunshine, without him? Suddenly I heard the clatter of hooves. A horse whinnied. I froze. Had he found me? Was he chasing me? Fear turned my legs to lead. I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. When the sounds faded, I let out a shaky breath. It had been my imagination. I hurried inside, ignoring the pangs of guilt that twisted in my gut. I tossed the fiddle onto the table. It felt heavy in my hands. How could I have done something like this? I had to give it back. He deserved an apology, one that would mean giving up my only chance at being close to him. As the sun rose, I walked back towards the castle, my head held high. I had to do this. I owed it to him. I reached the gate just as the first rays of sunlight touched the top of the wall. "Good morning," I said to the guard, trying to sound casual. "Lovely day, isn't it?" He grunted in response and went back to polishing his armor. I sighed. It always amazed me how people could be so heartless. They didn't even know the wonderful music he played. How could they not be happy about it? Finally, I made it to his door. My hand trembled as I knocked. I hoped he would open it. I hoped he wouldn't. It was agony waiting for his reply. The door swung open and there he was, his hair tousled, eyes shining with sleep. He looked like an angel, and I was about to confess everything. "Do you have a moment?" I began, my voice shaking. "I need to talk to you." His brows furrowed in concern. "Of course," he said, stepping aside to let me in. "What's wrong? Did I do something?" He closed the door behind me, and suddenly I was trapped in a world that smelled like him. The walls were adorned with pictures of him playing the fiddle, the worn wood of the table where he practiced. Every corner, every crevice held a memory of his music. And in the center of it all was him, looking at me with those warm brown eyes. How could I say it? I asked myself. How could I tell him I'd stolen from him? My throat tightened. He took a step closer. "Please, you have to tell me." His voice was soft, and it echoed the turmoil in my heart. I shook my head, tears welling up in my eyes. I couldn't bring myself to speak. Instead, I reached into my bag and pulled out the fiddle. It seemed to glow in his light, mocking me. He gasped when he saw it. "Where did you get that?" I couldn't answer. I didn't want to look away from his face. I didn't want to miss a single expression, a single flicker of emotion. "Why are you crying?" he asked, stepping closer still. And in that moment, I realized I'd never stop loving him, so I did the only thing I could do. I confessed everything. "I'm sorry," I whispered, handing him the fiddle. "I didn't know what to do. I wanted to be close to you, I thought maybe if I had this, if I had a piece of you, then I'd be closer to you. His eyes widened in surprise. He looked at the fiddle in his hands, then back at me. For a long moment, he didn't say anything. I couldn't speak either. All I could do was watch him, waiting for him to lash out, waiting for him to throw me out, waiting for him to tell me he didn't want me around anymore. But instead, he did something else entirely. He hugged me. It was the warmest embrace I'd ever known, and in that moment, I knew I hadn't lost him, because as he held me, I heard a smile in his voice. "You want to be closer to me?" he asked. And when I nodded, he added, "Well, then come live with me here in the castle." I couldn't believe my ears. "You mean it?" I whispered, pulling away to look at him. He nodded, his eyes twinkling with mirth. "Of course I mean it. Why would I want a treasure like this to stay out in the rain?" And as I stepped into the sun, I knew I'd found more than friendship. I'd found a love that resonated like the strings of his fiddle, a melody that would play forever. We walked hand in hand back to the castle, the sun warming our faces. I felt alive. I was home. Over the next few weeks, everything changed. I moved into the castle and became part of the royal court. I was no longer the girl who lived in the shadows. Now I walked beside him, laughing, talking, sharing secrets. Every morning we would wake up early, and he would show me how to play the fiddle. His fingers would dance across the strings while mine fumbled, clumsy and slow. "Don't press so hard, silly," he would say, chuckling as he took my hand to show me. "Let the music flow from your heart, not from your fingers." And I learned more than just how to play an instrument. I learned how to be with someone, how to share my joy and my pain, how to be vulnerable and loved all at the same time. One evening, as we sat by the fire, the flames dancing in his eyes, I turned to him and whispered, "Thank you for everything. You've given me more than I could have ever imagined." He smiled, his teeth flashing white against his tanned skin. "Nonsense, my love. We are blessed to have found each other. Now let the music play and let the world fade away." As the melody filled the room, I leaned against him, feeling the warmth of his body, the steady beat of his heart. I was complete. In that moment, surrounded by the magic of his music, the love that bound us together, I knew I'd found my forever in the arms of a marvelous musician.